Alright, so today I'm going to make a vegetable curry, and this is quite a new method. I've done it a few times now, but it's a Indian girl I used to work with, and she gave me this method, and it's pretty good. The problem I was having with my curries before this was I could actually do with a few more tomatoes than that, but it's all I've got, so we'll just go with it. The problem I was having with my curries before was that maybe we want some lemon in it, I'm not sure. That actually I do have some chicken I could maybe use. The problem I was having with my curries before was that if you wanted the sauce, I quite like the sauce on them, quite like them saucy, but when you kind of increase the amount of sauce, like you would make a paste and you would add in some water, and the problem with that is that it gets quite watery. You kind of wash away the spices the more liquid that you add, and so if you want more liquid, it becomes kind of watery and it washes the flavour away. This way is different, because what we're going to do with this one, do I want that? I'm actually going to use, I'm not going to make a huge amount, I'm going to go bigger with the pot. Yeah, so like if you wanted more kind of liquid in it, you would have to put more water and stuff into it, and it washed away the flavours. But with this one, I'm going to puree the sauce. I'm going to fry up the onions and tomatoes, add in garlic, ginger, then spices, and then puree that with a hand blender, blend it. So what that does is it creates a sauce with onions and the stuff as the body of the sauce, and so therefore it gives it a lot of flavour, and you could really increase the amount of sauce and it would proportionately increase the amount of flavour as well, rather than it going watery and washing it away. So this is a nice method. I have some coconut milk as well that I'm going to add to it, and I think I might use the remaining coconut milk to cook the rice. So all you're doing is just to start with onions and fresh tomatoes. And it really needs more tomatoes than that. Probably double that would be better. Maybe we'll put a wee bit of tomato puree into it to compensate for that. And what I'll do is I'll fry that and just leave that to fry. We're in no hurry with that. The longer that fries, the better. So while that's frying, we shall prepare all the vegetables. The mushrooms don't look very good, quite scrappy looking. But this, I mean, I'm using just vegetables. I do have some marinated chicken in there, but we'll see. I might make it might add that in as well. But this method works with anything, because what you're going to create is a sauce, and then just use that with any vegetables, beef or meats or anything, so like beef or chicken or pork or prawns or anything at all. It's really good with anything. So I don't wash the mushrooms under the water, just because they're already full of water, and then they will absorb even more water. So and this is another recipe, same as the ratatouille and things, which just uses up a load of vegetables. So if you are, if you've bought your 3 courgettes, if you bought your packets of peppers, 3 peppers, and you're not sure what to do with them, this is another recipe which just which you can put loads in, and you could freeze this. When it's finished, you freeze the final curry at the end. I actually ate some curry which I took out of the freezer the other day there, and it really good. It freezes really well. You're not supposed to do that, but you're not supposed to put a sliced, a portion of an onion in the fridge, but so I've been doing it for years. It's fine. The people who say that you shouldn't do that, I don't think they've ever been poor. So they've never known what it's like to actually have to save money and stuff like that. I am going to put a wee bit of tomato puree into it, just because I haven't put much tomato into it. Fresh tomatoes. Just put a wee squirt of that in. It richens it. Gives it a bit more depth. Get the flipping lid back on. Stupid. Yeah, I got some peas in the fridge, in the freezer as well. So I will use this for something else. I will use the I'll maybe do my lemon, and I've got some lemons, so I'll do lemon and courgette with this. So the inside of that bag was a wee bit wet, a lot of moisture in the vegetables, so just turn the bag inside out and dry it, just so you're storing the courgette in a nice dry bag, nicely wrapped up in the bottom of the fridge, and that'll last, you know, plenty more days. In terms of, so I'm going to add into this garlic, ginger and spices. So when it comes to spices, what do I want? I'm going to go fairly basic. I've got some mild curry powder, turmeric always, because you always do that, and maybe chili powder. I think that's all. The curry powder, you know, it's got all the stuff in it. It's got your, you know, it's a mixture of spices already. So I'm going to go fairly simple with that, but put plenty in. and I'm going to kind of rely on the flavour of the curry powder to give it its main curry flavour. Turmeric just for health, because it's always, you always want to add a wee bit of that. It's really good for you. You'll live forever if you eat that. And just some mild chili powder as well. Just adds a wee bit of extra flavour to it. So that's fine. So it's good because while you're the longer they cook the better. So you're just letting them all cook away while you do the other stuff. And then basically at the end we'll do the rice while this is cooking. So how much garlic? I reckon, yeah, I think we'll stick all of that in. I'll just do the lot. This is going to get blended, so we're not. That's the good thing about this as well, is that you can be quite rough with all your chopping. You can be quite rough with all your chopping because it's all going to get blended at the end. If you want to use a garlic crusher, obviously, if that works for you, then use it. I find that a lot of the garlic gets stuck inside the crusher and you tend to waste it. And you get Jamie Oliver doing it and he doesn't even peel it, so even more garlic gets stuck inside it. So I just don't. I do have one, but I only tried it once or twice and then I thought I'm just wasting an awful lot of garlic. It didn't really make sense. But it's probably because I bought a cheap one, so maybe if I hadn't been too stingy and got a decent one, it might have worked better. But I quite enjoyed chopping garlic like that. I quite enjoy doing that anyway. So it doesn't look very good, does it? Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's catching a wee bit. That's nice caramelisation on there. It's not burnt. That happened. It's only on, no, it's on 3 actually. Yeah, keep an eye on that if you put tomato puree in it. There must be sugar and stuff in that that's catching. But I just caught that in time there. That's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Probably benefited from that actually. Just went a wee bit dark there. That's a ginger. And because I've got lots of coriander here, I'm going to put the stalks in just now. Just remember and take the elastic band off. I'm going to chop that through the sauce. I'm going to just take the ends off. Some of the ends are a wee bit kind of dark, looking a wee bit dry. So what I'll do is I'll put the coriander stalks. Put lots of them. It's the benefit of getting these big bunches from the fruit and veg shop. As a quid, that it's £1. So put a whole load of them in as well. That'll give it a right good fragrance and flavour, and then they all fall down in between the cooker and the worktop. Very good. Good way to use up lots of these. Get an awful lot of herbs into your meal that way. I think that will call that about there, so we'll start adding the spices in now. chili powder. Whenever I put spices in like this, so when I'm just putting the, just doing it straight from the jar like that, I always kind of, I'll just leave it there for a second, leave it there for a couple of minutes. Because at this point, I think that the steam is going up and it's going into the jar. Plenty of curry powder. The steam goes up and goes into the jar, so at this point there's some steam kind of knocking about in that jar, a wee bit of moisture, so we'll just leave it there for a second and let the moisture out. That's probably just all in my imagination, that, but you just don't want to put any moisture into it and store it, because it'll go bad, go rock hard. So that's onions, tomatoes, tomato puree, garlic, ginger, coriander leaf, chili powder, turmeric, curry powder, quite a lot of powders. And we just want to let that cook out for a wee bit, put some salt and pepper into it, good pinch of salt. Pinch of pepper. And what am I doing now? So we want to puree that, so we want to get some liquid into it. Should I just use coconut milk, or should I put I think I'll put a wee touch of water into it, water in the kettle. I'll put a wee bit of water into it. Just put a touch of water into it. I'm thinking, because you need some water in it. You need plenty of water in it. Sorry, you need plenty of liquid in it. I think I will go with the coconut milk, and then I'll puree it. Normally I just put quite a lot of water into it. Coconut milk is optional. Normally I just put quite a lot of water into it, too much water. Puree it and then cook it down with the ingredients in it, the vegetables or whatever, and that will richen it up. We'll try this. Thinking I might want some sugar as well, actually. I'm tempted to just put this whole tin straight into that. Yeah, why not? That's really good. I'll just put the whole tin straight in. Seems a wee bit much, but it'll be okay. And okay, so that is now ready to be pureed. Just take it off the heat so I don't melt the bottom of the blender. So the girl who told me this, she actually makes up a paste without the liquid in it, and then takes the paste out and puts it into some kind of a wee, I think like one of the wee gadgets, the plastic containers with the wee blade in it, and she puts it into that and then blitzes it in that. I've kind of changed it a wee bit, so I don't have to, because I don't have one of them, and you know, this way you don't have to dirty another thing. It's all just done within this one pot. Holding it up at a slight angle just so all the bits go inside, they go underneath, because some of the bits maybe were a wee bit bigger than these wee holes, so just hold it up. You can see when you hold it, you get a wee vortex kind of thing going. A few wee lumps are alright, but the more you do it, the more the lumps of garlic and stuff become the sauce. And that's the whole point of that, is that rather than the liquid being the coconut milk in this case, rather than that being the sauce and then stuff's added into it, the onions, garlic, ginger, all those things have now become the sauce. So it really richens, it gives the sauce a lot of flavour, so this method is really, really good. I just can't believe I haven't done it before. I can't believe I didn't think of it myself, or have seen it before. I'm thinking maybe a wee bit of sugar might be needed, but we shall see. So you can see how it's kind of thick, it's got a thickness to it, and that's obviously because it's got all the onions, tomatoes, garlic, ginger through it. And the strength of flavour was really, really good. I think it would benefit from a wee bit of sugar. The coconut milk is giving it some sweetness anyway, so doesn't need much. But I'll just do that, 1 tablespoon. Do no harm. And then basically now, so that's your basic curry, that's your curry sauce. That's a really nice wee way to do a curry sauce there. And that would scale up, you know, the more stuff you put in it, it's not going to water that down. Instead of coconut milk, what you can do that's really nice is just use water, and then that creates a really nice curry sauce. And then you can put in a bit of cream, and the cream and the water, really, really good. The double cream is good. Don't know what's worse for you, double cream or coconut milk. They're probably both quite high in fat, so I don't know which one's better. Maybe coconut milk's a wee bit better, but it's still quite fatty. that's really good. Now what you would normally do at this point is you would have your marinated chicken. So you get some chicken, put some powder spices on it, some garam masala, curry powder or whatever, and then you would fry them and then chuck them in. What I should really do with all of these vegetables is fry them first, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to plop them all straight into the sauce. Because I'm always frying stuff, and this is just, you know, one less thing that I'm frying. So it's a wee bit healthier, a wee bit less oil and a wee bit less frying. The onions especially would kind of benefit. But you notice I haven't started the rice yet. So what that means is that this is going to sit here for a wee while. We're in no hurry with this. So I'm going to put some, actually I might use my frozen spinach. Definitely put some frozen peas through it. Just all in. Frozen peas. And I've got I'm not really happy about this, but not really. Chopped spinach, yeah, chopped. That's the thing. I've got these wee bullets of spinach. Seem like a good idea. We'll pop them in. Why not? Pop a couple of them in. The problem with them is that it's been chopped, as it says in the first word in the front of the packet. But normally, if you put spinach through this, fresh spinach, you need something red in there, doesn't it? But normally if you put fresh spinach through it, the leaves are quite kind of big, and you get these big chunks of spinach, and it's nice. Because this is kind of shredded down, it's been put through a mill, you know, it's really, really shredded, and it tends to not look very nice in the dish. That's why that bag is quite full. But in this it should be fine actually. It's just because it's pulp right down to nothingness. So with the frozen stuff in there, that's come right down in temperature. So what am I doing? Wash that. And because it's got coconut milk, you have to kind of keep an eye on it that it doesn't burn too much. You don't have the heat too high. So just once it starts to blip, just keep an eye on it. You don't let it catch at the bottom. And basically all I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my rice, and then once the rice is done, then this is ready. Might be quite a lot of water coming out of these. You just have to watch it doesn't water it down too much. I'll put a lid on that, and then I'll start the rice. But you've got to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to do just my normal 2 to 1. I should call it 1 to 2 actually. I'm going to try and start calling it that all the time. I'll put ginger there. I'm going to use my 1 to 2 method. 1 rice to 2 water. I was going to use the coconut milk for this, but then as you saw, I used a lot. I used all the coconut milk in that. I didn't think I would use all of it, but I did. Because you can kind of replace basically exactly the same method. So 1 rice to 2 water, and just basically replace the water with coconut milk. And you kind of think it's going to be amazing, but it's not. It's not that. The flavour that it adds is it's quite delicate. It's not as amazing as you think it would be, or as you would hope it would be. But it's pretty good. And if you've used coconut milk in the sauce like this, and then you've got some left over and you're not sure what to do with it, just use it to make the rice. It's a good way to use it up. And what I'll do is I'll get this rice on, have a wee clean down, and then I'll bring you back. I'll I will pause the video and come back. To give that a good clean, I don't want my next smoothie to taste of garlic. So that's bubbling now, so I'm going to turn that right down to 1, down to minimum. And hopefully the water that comes out of the vegetables doesn't water that down too much, but we'll see. Because you know the mushrooms are all full of water, so that will come out into the sauce. Hopefully it doesn't wash away the sauce, but if it does, we can just reduce it. We can stick the heat on it and boil it right down. We'll worry about that later on. Wash it like that 5-6 times until the water runs clear and you've rinsed all the starch off it. It just helps the rice to not stick together when you cook it, stops it clumping, and I think it rinses away any arsenic as well. I think I read that somewhere on the internet that rice is full of arsenic. So it was a heaped ramekin of rice, so I'll do one heaped ramekin of rice to 2 and a wee bit of water. Pinch of salt into that. I'll put some ginger in that as well, actually, why not? Go well with the curry. And you know, any excuse to eat ginger, it's good for you. It's yeah, I was just kind of chopping big slices of ginger, leaving the skin on and putting it into the rice, and then boiling the rice up and then discarding it. But then I thought, well, what's the point of discarding it? Why not just eat it? You know, like, if you think about it as like a ginger cup of, like a tea, just boiling water with ginger in it. That's where I got the idea from. So you would put the pieces of ginger in, boil it, and then chuck them away. But then, well, why chuck them away? Why not just make them smaller and then just eat them? Actually, having said that about the spinach, that it made the dish not look very good because it was all in wee bits, it actually makes this look quite good because it's adding all that green through it. Just completely contradict myself. I'm going to do it with the lid off. There's just an awful lot of water in those vegetables, so I'm going to leave it with the lid off and turn it up a bit and let it boil with the lid off for a wee bit. Blood in the rice. So all I'm going to do is just basically boil this and wait for the rice to cook, and the rice will just, once the water disappears, the rice is done. I'll show you that at the end. So probably come back in about 10 or so-ish minutes. but I will see you in a minute. Alright, it's good. 10, almost 10, good 10 minutes. So turn these both off now. So I'll show you the rice. What you're looking at with the rice is